In the bustling halls of a high-profile courthouse, a young, overconfident lawyer made his presence known. Fresh out of law school and armed with arrogance, he saw himself as untouchable. When a poised and professional black woman quietly entered the courtroom as part of the judge's support staff, he didn't think twice before belittling her with snide comments and dismissive remarks. He assumed she was just another clerk, someone he didn't need to respect. But what he didn't know was this woman wasn't just anyone. She had a long history with the judge and had played a crucial role in his career. As the rookie's cutting words echoed in the room, heads turned, but she remained calm, knowing something he didn't. The real shock came when the judge entered, and the rookie's world flipped upside down. What happens next will leave you speechless. Stay tuned. The judge entered the courtroom with a commanding presence, his stern gaze silencing the chatter. The rookie lawyer smirked, ready to impress with his prepared arguments. He didn't notice the subtle nod exchanged between the judge and the woman he'd insulted earlier. She quietly took her seat near the bench, her expression calm but unreadable. As the proceedings began, the judge introduced the day's agenda. But then his tone shifted. "Before we move forward," he said, pausing for effect, "I'd like to acknowledge someone who has played an instrumental role in shaping this court and my career." The rookie's smug expression faltered, confusion flickering across his face. The judge gestured toward the woman. "This is Mrs. Daniels, my former mentor and one of the most brilliant legal minds I've ever had the privilege of learning from." The room went silent. The rookie's confidence began to crumble as reality set in. The rookie lawyer shifted uncomfortably, his confidence visibly shaken as whispers rippled through the courtroom. He replayed his earlier words in his head, realizing how disrespectful and dismissive he'd been toward Mrs. Daniels. Still, he tried to keep his composure, hoping no one would connect his earlier behavior to the glowing praise she was now receiving. The judge continued, his voice steady but pointed. "Mrs. Daniels has dedicated her life to justice and mentorship. Without her guidance, many of us, including myself, would not be standing here today." The rookie's discomfort turned to panic as he noticed several seasoned attorneys glancing in his direction. Had they overheard his earlier comments? His mind raced, searching for a way to salvage his reputation. Meanwhile, Mrs. Daniels remained calm, her professionalism unshaken. But beneath her composed demeanor, there was a quiet strength, a strength the rookie was about to see firsthand. The tension in the room grew thicker, and everyone wondered how this confrontation would unfold. As the hearing progressed, the judge's remarks became more direct, though he never mentioned the rookie by name. "Respect is the foundation of this courtroom," he said, his sharp tone cutting through the tension. "No one, no matter their title or experience, should ever underestimate the value of those who have paved the way." The rookie's hands gripped the edge of his table, his confidence crumbling as every word seemed directed at him. He could feel the weight of Mrs. Daniels' presence, though she never once looked his way. Instead, she remained focused on the proceedings, her professionalism speaking volumes. When it came time for the rookie to present his arguments, his voice wavered. The same bravado that had filled the room earlier was gone. The judge listened intently, but there was an unspoken challenge in his gaze, as if daring the rookie to prove he deserved to be standing there. Mrs. Daniels' quiet strength loomed large, a silent reminder of the rookie's earlier mistake. The air in the room was heavy with anticipation, and everyone could sense a turning point was near. As the rookie stumbled through his presentation, trying to recover his footing, the judge abruptly held up a hand, signaling him to pause. The room fell silent. "Before we proceed further," the judge said, his voice steady but firm, "I think it's important we take a moment to reflect on the values we uphold here: respect, integrity, and humility." His eyes rested on the rookie for a beat too long, making the tension unbearable. The judge then turned to Mrs. Daniels. "Mrs. Daniels, would you mind sharing a brief insight into your experience and what it means to serve justice?" The rookie froze, his face paling. This wasn't just a chance for Mrs. Daniels to speak. It was an opportunity for her to reveal everything. And she did. With grace and poise, she began recounting her years of work, subtly weaving in lessons about professionalism and the dangers of arrogance. Then, almost casually, she added, "Unfortunately, not everyone recognizes the importance of treating others with dignity until it's too late." The rookie's heart sank as he realized her words weren't hypothetical. All eyes shifted toward him, and the air grew heavier. Something told him this wasn't over yet. The rookie's chest tightened as Mrs. Daniels finished her words, her calm tone carrying more weight than any raised voice ever could. The judge leaned forward, his piercing gaze locking onto the young lawyer. "It's clear some among us still have much to learn about humility and respect," he said pointedly. The rookie knew there was no hiding now. Then, in an unexpected move, the judge addressed the court. "Let me make something clear. This courtroom values every person's contribution, regardless of title. Disrespect, whether subtle or overt, has no place here." His words landed like a hammer, and the rookie's earlier behavior hung in the air like an unspoken accusation. But the twist came when Mrs. Daniels rose from her seat, holding a stack of documents. "Your Honor," she said, handing them to the judge, "these materials provide additional context for today's case." The judge smiled knowingly as he glanced at them, then turned to the rookie. "You may want to pay special attention to these. They were prepared by Mrs. Daniels herself, on behalf of the very client you represent." The rookie's jaw dropped. The woman he had insulted was not only a mentor to the judge, but had also directly influenced the case he was so desperate to win. The room erupted in whispers as the rookie stood frozen, fully realizing the extent of his mistake. While the judge moved on with the hearing, the rookie was left to grapple with a hard-earned lesson he would never forget. Respect isn't optional, and arrogance can destroy even the best-laid plans. As the proceedings wrapped up, the rookie sat quietly, his earlier arrogance replaced by a deep sense of regret. He watched as Mrs. Daniels effortlessly navigated the courtroom, her knowledge and professionalism commanding the respect he now realized she had always deserved. The judge's closing remarks echoed in his mind. "True success isn't built on ego, it's built on character." Later, as the courtroom emptied, the rookie hesitated before approaching Mrs. Daniels. Swallowing his pride, he said softly, "I owe you an apology. I was wrong to judge you, and I've learned my lesson today." Mrs. Daniels studied him for a moment, her expression unreadable, before offering a small, understanding smile. "The real lesson," she said, "is what you do moving forward." The rookie left the courthouse that day with more than just notes on his case. He left with a humbling reminder that respect and humility are the true marks of a great lawyer.